Hey everyone, we are surrounded by these incredible world-changing ideas, right? Startups that are trying to tackle everything from climate change to global health. But how do we actually fund them? It turns out there's this huge disconnect in how we value these kinds of companies, but a new blueprint might be exactly what we need to fix it. It really all comes down to this one question. How do you put a number on an idea that's designed to do way more than just make a profit? I mean, when the actual goal is to make the world a better place, your standard spreadsheet, it's just not going to cut it. And this is exactly where a field called impact investing comes into play. The whole idea is to do two things at once. First, generate a positive, measurable social or environmental impact, and at the same time, deliver a financial return. It's built on this belief that profit and purpose can and should go hand in hand. So at the heart of this whole thing, you've got two main characters. You've got visionary founders with these huge ideas, and you've got mission-driven investors who really want to back them. You'd think it'd be a perfect match. But here's the catch researchers found. Even though they both want the exact same outcome, they're just not speaking the same language. There's this fundamental communication gap in how they talk about success, and honestly, it's holding back some serious progress. And that brings us to what the research calls the evaluation mismatch. The best way to think about it is like trying to jam a square peg into a round hole. Investors are using these old-school traditional tools for a completely new kind of company. And here's what that mismatch looks like. Traditional startups, they're judged with standard venture capital tools that are all about fast, high-profit returns. Simple. But impact startups, they are playing a totally different game. Their missions are long-term, they're often in brand new sectors where there isn't a lot of data, and those old checklists just don't work. The research really digs into what makes these startups so unique. They're constantly struggling with limited resources. Their business models can change on a dime. And because a lot of this is so new, there's hardly any historical data to look back on. But maybe the biggest challenge of all, they have to serve two masters, keeping the lights on financially, while also staying true to their core social mission. This quote from the research, it just says it all. The old tools simply can't grasp what makes these companies special. It's not a suggestion, it's a necessity. They have to be adapted if we're ever going to get serious about funding these world-changing ideas. We just need a new way of doing things. So, how do you actually build a new approach? Well, the researchers basically went back to the drawing board. They used a process called design science to engineer a totally new blueprint for evaluating impact, literally from the ground up. They broke the whole process down into 4 pretty simple steps. First up is framing. That's where you agree on what success even looks like. Then, identification, where you map out all the potential impacts and risks along the way. Third, assessment. You figure out how big of a deal those impacts could be. And finally, management. You track your progress and adjust course when you need to. It's a really clear, methodical system. And after all that foundational work, this method led to a real breakthrough, a brand new framework built from scratch, specifically to solve this evaluation mismatch. And here is the philosophical leap that makes it so powerful. The solution isn't another rigid, one-sided checklist. No, it's a conversation. It's a true partnership between the investor and the startup. This whole new model is built around shared responsibility. The investor's job is to frame that big picture and assess the potential. But it's the startup, the one with the boots-on-the-ground knowledge, that takes the lead on identifying what really matters and managing the day-to-day progress. It's a genuine partnership with a really clear division of labor. And this is kind of what it looks like in action. The framework is designed as an infinity loop, which is perfect. It's not a one-time evaluation with a simple yes or no at the end. It's this continuous, collaborative dialogue that grows and changes right along with the startup. It's an ongoing relationship. Okay, so a new academic framework is cool and all, but what does it actually mean for the real world? Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture here, because this is why it all matters so much. It matters because of this. Billions, we're talking potentially trillions of dollars in capital just waiting to be deployed into impact investing. A better way to evaluate these companies could be the key that unlocks all that capital, sending it straight to the startups that are tackling our planet's biggest challenges. Of course, a great theory is only as good as its real-world application. So, is this thing actually practical? To find out, the researchers put it to the test with the very people who would be using it: an impact founder, an investor, and another researcher.
And the feedback they got back was so valuable and refreshingly honest. The experts all agreed that the framework creates a structured process and really helps investors and startups get on the same page. But they also pointed out some weaknesses. It can be pretty time-consuming, the roles need to be crystal clear, and it probably works best for startups that already have a little bit of a track record. So it's a fantastic start, but it's not a magic bullet. But here's the crucial takeaway from all this. Better tools lead to better conversations. Better conversations lead to smarter investments. And smarter investments, when they're aimed at the right companies, can absolutely help build a better world. That is the real prize here. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. If we can actually get this right, if we get really, really good at finding and funding true impact, what are the massive global problems that we'll finally be able to solve next?